All right, so I have this question from Olasukomi. And I think before I read this question from Olasukomi, I'll just give some context to Olasukomi's question. Olasukomi had asked me a question earlier, and the question was around him wanting to be a graphic designer. And he was at that time presently in school studying a course which was in graphic design and which he wasn't enjoying so much. And he asked for my advice what to do. And I told him then that he would need to talk to his parents to let them know what his true desires were, and to have like the audacity and the courage to seek changing his course from that which he didn't like to that which he was desirous of doing, which was graphic design. So this is a follow-up question from Olasukomi. I think this is about 2 months later or so. Olasukomi is saying, you gave me some advice a while ago about talking to my parents and changing my course in the university, which I followed. I did a search online about the possible institutions I could switch to, and I discovered something, something I'm not really sure about. All the Nigerian universities I've seen don't offer graphic design as a course. Rather, they offer it as a specialization after getting a bachelor's degree in fine and applied arts. But the other suggestion I got overseas listed graphic design as a course. Is that how I'm supposed to take the course, or do I keep searching for another option? All right, so obviously, Folasukemi has gone ahead to have a discussion with his parents, and now he's looking for a school in which he can study graphic design as an undergraduate course. And funny enough, Olasukomi is saying from his search, he can't find a school that offers graphic design in Nigeria as an undergraduate course, but they offer it as a specialization after getting a bachelor's in fine and applied arts. Now, I really haven't done much to confirm what Olasukomi is saying, so I'm just taking his word for it. That this is true. There is no school in Nigeria that offers graphic design as an undergraduate course. That is pretty surprising for me. But I've been out of school for quite a long time right now, for over a decade, well over a decade, almost 2 decades now. So I don't know what the curriculum is like, but I'm surprised that in 2023 there isn't a university, whether private or a federal university, that offers graphic design as a course. That is very shocking to me. But if that's the case, now Olasukomi now has this issue of he doesn't want to study fine and applied arts. He wants to go straight in for graphic design, and I can understand why, because they are pretty much two different things. And I don't believe in wasting your time either doing one thing you don't really want to do, as opposed to just going straight and doing what you want to do. What I would advise is, Olasukomi, this is where you really need to ask yourself some really serious questions. Now, you need to ask, what are your options? Now, abroad, I know there are a lot of schools that offer graphic design as an undergraduate course, and this has been for years. For years, you know, graphic design has been offered or has been given to people to study as an undergraduate course in a lot of schools abroad. Now, the options you have are: can you travel abroad? Is it an investment you can make? Is it an investment your family is willing to make towards actualizing this, your desire to be a graphic designer? Is it possible? If it's possible, then that's a discussion you need to have with your parents again. You can't find it in Nigeria, I would like to go abroad, because there I can find it. You understand? The discussion with your parents is far from over. You need to have that discussion. If it's something you've had a discussion with your parents and you realize that the funds are not there, it's not just possible. And I can understand that, because it's very expensive to study abroad today. The exchange rate is really terrible for us. Schools are really expensive, even for people that are indigent abroad, people that are citizens of this country. A university education is pretty expensive. But people, some people can afford it. If you are privileged enough to afford it, then I think that's what you should push for, and that's what you should request from your parents. Have that discussion and just let them just know that it's an investment towards you going after what you dream to do with your life. But if it can't happen, and I know for a lot of families, it just can't happen because the means are not just there. And this is where you need to ask yourself this question. Do you want a knowledge in graphic design? Which one do you want more, knowledge in graphic design or to go to university? And this is where the hard decision comes in. You see, the fact that universities don't offer it, what does that mean? Does that put you in a position where you have to go to a university then do a course in fine and applied arts? Or does it put you in a position where you have to really consider bypassing this university thing and say, do I really need to go to a university? Do I really need to go to a university in today's time before I can get to study this course that I really like, or be an expert in this field that I really like? For graphic design, I don't think so. And I think that's the problem we have here in Nigeria. And I think it's an African problem generally, where we over prioritize this university education. I think for a course like graphic design, I don't think a university education is absolutely necessary in today's age. If I was talking to you in my own time, which was, and as I said, I went to university over 2 decades ago, and then the university still had a strong hold on whether you could work, because then these new jobs were not on the horizon. The internet was new. There was nothing like social media, so we didn't have any social media influencers. There were no YouTubers. There were no UX designers, no UI designers, hardly any web designers in Nigeria. So there was no market. But now it's very easy to be successful in Nigeria as a professional in a new field without going through the 4 walls or the gates of a university. It's very possible. The problem is that there's this ingrained fear that our parents have passed on to us that say, if you don't go to a university, your life will not be sure. Your destiny is not sure. Your career is not sure. I don't think so. You understand? I don't think so. I really don't think so. But you really need to ask yourself right now, because graphic design training is abundant out there. Outside of the university, it's abundant. You understand? It's abundant out there. I won't lie to you. There are a lot of people that have set up graphic design trainings, a lot of people that have set up graphic design courses that you can attend. You don't have to do fine and applied arts for 4 years of your life before getting to connect, before starting to learn about graphic design. I don't think so. So is that, are you at that place in your life where you're confident enough to say, I want to go this thing without thinking, without putting 4 years to get a university degree, and just go straight to learn this graphic design thing? Or am I at this place whereby I feel I need a university degree to help my confidence as a person, so that when I'm talking to people, I can say I have a university degree? Those are things you need to ask yourself. So if you're willing to do that, then you might just need to go and study that fine and applied arts. You understand? But I would warn you that time is a factor. 4 years, at least in Nigeria, assuming that schools don't close down, is something you need to consider. You understand? So think about it. There are other routes by which you can become a graphic designer. You learn a course, you have a certificate, you go a diploma or something like that. I do know that outside of the university, we have polytechnics that offer graphic design. At least I know of one polytechnic. I know Yaba Tech, College of Technology. And that's the thing, you see, a lot of times, because of our distorted way of looking at education, we like to class everything, because we have such an insecure, the average African has imbibed such an insecure personality. So we look at everything in a class way. So we have a class for university education as the top of the pyramid, and technical colleges as much lower. But that's not true. It just shows that the approach to teaching is different. And so I believe that something like graphic design, to a very large extent, is something that will be best taught in a technical college. And that's why you could realize that Yaba Tech in Nigeria was a very good place. I don't know how it is now. I don't know what the standard is like. But when I was in university, I wasn't yet interested in graphic design. People that went to Yaba Tech to study graphic design are doing amazing things. And we're doing amazing things then. I'm talking about 15 years ago. Then graduates from Yaba Tech were really amazing. You understand? There are a number of them that I know that were really good. So it shows that the quality of education was good. The mindset of people that were going in there was good. I don't know if that's the same thing right now. That's why I cannot authoritatively recommend Yaba Tech to you. But even if I was to recommend it to you, are you confident enough to say I want to go to a college of technology or a polytechnic over going to a university? You understand? Is this something you feel your parents are willing to let you do too? Is it a conversation you feel you can win your parents over to do? So there's still a lot of conversations you need to have with yourself and with your parents. But you need to be true to yourself. The world is not that complicated anymore. As I said, you know, I studied architecture and then I studied graphic design, interactive multimedia as a postgraduate. I am formally educated within the walls of a university. You understand? Both in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria. However, one thing I realized coming out from Nigeria and working 18 years, this is my 18th year in the industry, is how irrelevant that paper called a certificate is. Number one, my first certificate from architecture, I have never collected it from my university. It's still in my university. I haven't made out time to go and collect it, and this 20 years after, I haven't collected it. The one I got from Canada is still somewhere in my wardrobe gathering dust. It's not gathering dust because it's in a box though, but it's just there. It's locked away somewhere. It has never seen the light of day outside my house. Nobody has ever requested for it. And I'm saying that as the truth. Nobody in 18 years I've ever requested. And I've worked with so many people. So, sometimes you just need to go for the knowledge. So what I'm going to ask you that the university doesn't offer it, but it's the knowledge out there where you can learn, begin to learn and commit to like some form of training, some course that might not be a university. That might just be a training. That might be a course. You understand that you can begin to get to learn about graphic design. Are those available? And are you willing to go that route? If you are willing to go that route, then you can start. But if you are willing to go the university route, then you need to either go out of Nigeria, and I do hope your parents can afford it, or go to a school and study. You give them their requirement of 4 years of something you don't want to do first. But that's time gone, and you're going to be older by the time you come out. So it's a very hard situation, but that's life. You need to make some hard decisions. And that option you have is go to university and study something similar to something that will help you as you learn graphic design, which is something like psychology. I really believe a knowledge in psychology will be helpful for anyone, especially a designer. So if you went to school to study psychology, it will help you. But the thing that as you go to school to study psychology, you also have to learn some other courses that you might not be interested in, and that's another 4 years of learning stuff that is not core design. And that's you hoping that while you're in school studying psychology, you have spare time to still practice on graphic design. And that's wishful thinking, because a lot of people don't have that opportunity, that spare time in school. So that's you hanging design for 4 years. So by the time you come out from school, design has changed immensely. You understand? It has changed immensely. So I still believe you just need to ask yourself, what do you want? The knowledge of design or a certificate just to show that you went to school?